America. And she even sounds really bitter. Now, here are some of the things that she has to say.
Please give it up for Michelle Obama.
She's hoping to become the next First Lady of the United States. But Michelle Obama paints a very dim portrayal of what she thinks life is like as an American citizen.
For the first time in my adult life, I am proud of my country because it feels like hope is finally making a comeback.
As Michelle Obama stumps for her husband to be the next President of the United States, it seems she doesn't really have many positive things to say about America. In fact, her speeches always seem to have a negative tone to them. It seems her view of the United States is one of despair and hopelessness.
Where sometimes the bar is set, and they tell you, you know, all you have to do is get to this bar. And there's a handful of things that you need to do, and we guarantee that you will get to the bar. So you work, and you struggle, and you do exactly what's asked of you, and you think you are right there about to grab the bar. Just like they said, and what happens? They move the bar.
That's pretty depressing coming from a woman who wants her husband to be the leader of the country. In fact, National Review's Yuval Levin calls Michelle Obama, quote, America's unhappiest millionaire, and claims she is preaching from a gospel of misery. This raises the question, why does Michelle Obama sound so bitter and angry as she campaigns for the White House?
Things have gotten progressively worse for the vast majority of regular working people over my lifetime. We are suffering today in this nation from a deficit of empathy. We've lost our way.
As she crisscrosses the country, Michelle Obama tries to explain that she relates to the average American and claims to know their burdens and their pain. Americans are used to thinking of their country as John Winthrop's and Ronald Reagan's shining city on a hill, but Michelle Obama's rhetoric sounds more like Jimmy Carter's malaise.
And for more now, we turn to Fox News contributor and National Review White House correspondent. Our good friend Byron York is back with us. Byron, good piece. I got to give you and Yuval Levin a lot of credit on National Review Online. You both have written terrific pieces this week about this. Levin's piece is called America's Unhappiest Millionaire, Michelle Obama's Gospel of Misery, and following your piece. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think, when we look at the background of Michelle Obama or Barack Obama, they've gone to the finest schools, they've had tremendous opportunity. Prior to Jeremiah Wright, Bill Ayers, and some comments they made, I think a good argument could be made. They were by far the front runners to win the presidency in this country. Why does she think America's a downright mean country in 2008? Why has she never been proud of her country in her adult lifetime, do you think?
You know, listening to her in North Carolina, you got a sense that she has this deep feeling that she and her husband have been treated unfairly. She gives an hour speech which is just entirely negative, complaining at great length about how her husband was treated, saying that each time he would accomplish something, she never said who they was, but she said they would raise the bar and he'd have to strive again. She complained that many people in America are treated that way, and she even got in complaints that I've heard her make several times about having to pay off her college loans for going to Princeton and Harvard Law School.
And in light of the fact that there was so much made out of the America's a downright mean country, and I've never been proud of my country, I was surprised when I read your piece, because you go into some specificity here. She says, you know what happens when people live in a society where the vast majority of people are struggling every day to reach an ever-shifting and moving bar? You know what happens in that society? Then someone yells out, they get frustrated. And she says, absolutely, that's right. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, isn't this the country that not only provided them opportunity, but hope and opportunity and freedom to pursue your dreams, you know, for every American? And I'm not sure why she obviously feels this way. She has a negative view of the country today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And she, here again, she talks about some of their financial struggles, and she said the only way they got out of their financial struggles was when her husband wrote 2 best-selling books in North Carolina. She said it was like hitting the lotto. But, you know, she's actually done pretty well herself, a graduate of Harvard Law School. She had worked for a very top-tier firm, Sidley & Austin, in Chicago. Yeah. She left the practice of law and went to work for the University of Chicago In 2004, just before her husband was elected to the Senate, she was making $121,000 a year in that job. In 2005, just after he's sworn in, she gets a raise to $316,000. Really not doing all that bad.
Levin's column says, you know, America's unhappiest millionaire. And then you described the scene, I believe it was in South Carolina, the speech you were attending, where she talks about a 10-year-old girl that she ran into on the trail. Why don't you explain that? Because I think that's very revealing.
Yeah, a little 10-year-old girl walks up to her, and she says, I need to speak to you. And she says, well, what do you need? And the girl says, do you realize that if your husband is elected president, it will be historical? And everybody laughed. It was a cute story. And Michelle Obama said, she asked the little girl, well, what does that mean to you? And the girl said, it means that I can be anything. And at that point, I think the crowd thought they were going to hear an inspiring story. And then she said, and then the little girl burst into tears, just crying, big, big, sad tears. And what was the problem? And Michelle Obama said, you know, then I realized this little girl gets it. She knows the dream is slipping away. She knows that college has become out of reach for her. She knows she doesn't have health insurance. I mean, she turned it into another tale of woe.
I think there's going to be an issue in the campaign. Very interesting, very revealing. Byron,